Okay, this is a video I actually had not intended to do, but this is kind of a pay it forward thing. uh, a guy who was a former student of mine asked me to do one on this tune around midnight, and it reminded me that when I was about his age, Dizzy Gillespie was about my age, and I asked him to write out the changes to Around Midnight. I since lost that piece of paper. If I had it, I'd put it in a frame and put it on the wall, but I lost it in a flood in the basement. So anyway, it was kind of surreal that he's asking me for what I asked him for, and I certainly do not have the authority of Dizzy Gillespie, but I know the tune. And also, this is an opportunity to share what I do almost all the time now, is I change keys of tunes for a variety of reasons. When I used to move around and I'd move to a new city and, I didn't know anybody, I would, harass managers of high-end restaurants to, go sit in the corner and play. So I would have to play tunes, and I very quickly learned that a lot of times it was a lot easier to just change the key to a guitar key, because keyboard players and horn players tend to prefer flat keys, whereas strings are more sharps key oriented. And I had a conversation not too long ago, a couple of years ago, a keyboard player, and we all brought in tunes, and I mentioned to him, man, all your tunes are in like F minor or A flat. I wasn't criticizing it, but he explained to me that in his opinion the playing in C was actually the most difficult because it's just all white keys, that when he played in these flat keys he had the black keys as reference points. That makes sense. And I played with horn players so much, a lot of times I write a song and I just automatically put it in B flat or something like that, or F. Then I'd take those tunes and play them, say, in a trio, guitar, bass, drums, and I learned that if I took a tune that I wrote in B flat and put it in A, if I'm in B flat, everything for the most part is fretted. But if I'm in A, I can use open strings and it just opens up the instrument. So that's what I do. So a rule of thumb for me, this works for me, you try it out, is just take the bottom 4 strings of your guitar, put tunes in one of those keys, E, A, D, G. They all work great. G is great, man. Right? D is good too, and it is especially good if you do a drop D. That's the only alternate tuning I use, because otherwise I just get confused. But if you move things to those keys, you will find it easier. So anyway, Around Midnight, I haven't played it in a long time, and I thought, okay, it starts off with this, basically a sus2, then goes to minor, right? But this, and my little brain says, oh, those are fourths, basically, it's sus2. So I'm thinking, oh, I could move it up to E, or I could move it down to D. And if I move it down to D, I get, right? For the melody. That said to me, well, that's opening up the instrument. And then that's the C7. Open string. And here, this is an E minor 7 flat 5. Sorry. But I could just play a B flat major chord with the E in the bass. So that's just B flat and A. And then I hit the A bass note. That's an F major chord. And that's an E flat. Right? That's not what the chord symbols say. But it works, right? So I went through the tune and it worked really well. The major chord, the B half diminished. I don't like playing it here because I have to cram my fat little fingers into too few frets. It works better. Again, I'm basically playing a B flat chord, but I'm putting the E on top. I guess I could go. So. Cool part here. That's a cool lick, man. You know, transpose that lick, and then it goes back to the melody. That's D, F, A, B, E, or so. And Chris asked me about scales or modes to play over. I like to think more harmonically than melodically on these things, and it's typical jazz tune with the 2 5s, right? That's a 2 5 in D minor, E half diminished, some kind of A7 chord. Here I'm playing the flat 9 in there. Or I like that. How I'm doing it, I'm playing an E flat chord with an A in the bass. And then going to the D. That's the major 7 to the minor 7. You could just go crazy with this stuff. But, you know, just play E half diminished to A7 something to D minor over and over again. You know, E, A7. Just follow the chords. And that's the way it is in jazz tunes more than pop tunes. Like you take a tune like, I don't know, Alfie from the 60s, great tune, and you have to approach it slightly differently. You actually, in a tune like this, you just compartmentalize the 2-5-1s. It's like you're just changing keys all the time. Just think of it that way. You're not in a key. You're playing over the top of chords and group them together. You know, don't just take them as individual items. And that way, so, you know, it gets to the G minor 7 to the C7. You know, the parent scale there would, the first choice would probably be F, you know. But to think of it harmonically instead, I could go for the G minor 7. It's not really a scale, I'm just doing a leading tone to each of the scale tones. Could do this. That's the C7. I'm substituting a C sharp diminished chord. Or I could go G minor 9 to F sharp. That's a dominant 9. I'm substituting. So it's really just messing around with 2-5-1s in major, 2-5-1s in minor. And I know what I'm saying here is just coming up short. I could talk about, you know, how to play over 2-5-1s for a very long time. But the most important part is just to recognize them and negotiate them. Just go for it. Around Midnight, great tune, and whatever instrument you play, try it in different keys. This works for me for this tune, so I might add it to my repertoire. Have a great day. Don't get sick.